Hey everybody, Johnny Corbin. This is about the fourth time I've tried to record this correctly. You know, when you take a song and you slow it down, especially a song you've played for a long time, and you start thinking about what you're doing, it's you start making mistakes. So I'm not going to go through this again. I've stopped and started several times, so I'm probably going to make a mistake or two here. I'll let you know where that is, and then I'll show you the correction. It's just because I'm slowing this down and I'm thinking about every little move, and it's pretty difficult at times. So we've talked about music before in the past. Music is a language, and by the way, this is a great time to be playing guitar. Grab your Corbin guitar and entertain yourself, entertain your friends, entertain your family. These are really crazy times for us and for you. It seems to be a worldwide issue, all of these challenges right now. And music is something that it's universal. It's a universal language. It makes you feel happy, makes you feel sad, helps you project a message, a feeling. So learn how to play guitar. It's a wonderful thing. I've been doing it 50 years, and I can't imagine a day without playing, to be honest. So this is a tune called Wildwood Flower. But before we get into it, I would like to talk about the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Most of you, or many of you, are probably familiar with it, but I'm trying to do this so that as many people as possible can begin playing music and enjoying it. So the 1 chord, 4 chord, and 5 chord simply means this. If I'm playing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in the key of C, the number 1 chord in the key of C is C. And that's because the first note in the key of C of the scale is a C note. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C chord is called the 1 chord. If I go up 4 tones from the C chord, counting the C note as 1. C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I end up on an F note. So if I play an F chord, and it's an F major chord, that is called the 4 chord in the key of C. C, D, E, F. If I go up to the 5 chord, it's the 5th note of the C scale. C, D, E, F, G. Play a G chord or a G7 chord. I have the 5 chord. So 1 chord, C note, 4 chord is the F note, 5 chord is built from the G note. C, D, E, F, G. And that's called 1-4-5. And the first couple times I did this video, I went into a whole thing about 1-4-5. We'll save that for a later time. But learn that. I will show you this. If I'm playing in the key of E, in other words, I'm starting with an E chord, I'm calling E my number 1 chord. Then I count up 4 letters from E, E, F, G, A. And that gives me my A chord. That's my 4 chord in the key of E. And then I go to the 5 chord, which is the B chord in the key of E. And that 5 chord always wants to go back to, regardless of the key, it always wants to go back to the 1 chord. So in the key of E, I have the E chord as the 1 chord. I have the A chord as the 4 chord. I have the B7 chord as the 5 chord. And that B7 or the 5 chord always wants to go back to the E chord or the 1 chord. The same as if I play it in the key of C. C is the 1 chord. F is the 4 chord. And G7 or G is the 5 chord. And that wants to go back to bum, bum. to the 1 chord sound. Okay? So 1, 4, 5. We changed the dialect of how those chords are played and the notes behind those chords. We have many different styles just out of that short 3 chord, or as I say, 3 word progression: the C word, the F word, and the G word. I think of guitar as a language. It's just easier for me. So, to our song. It's called Wildwood Flower. It's an old traditional bluegrass country song. And we're going to need a C chord. We're going to need an F chord. We might have a G chord in there, or some form of a G chord. And that's pretty much the whole song, okay? But physically, we have to learn how to do something called a hammer-on, and we're also going to use something called a pull-off, and we're also going to use some notes called chromatic notes. So a hammer-on is this. A hammer-on is quite fun to play once you get it down. You strike a string. In this case, I'll hit the 4th string, and I'm going to take my 2nd finger, and I'm just going to hammer it on. Hammer on, or smack it on the 2nd fret, 4th string. That is not as easy as it looks, especially when you think about it, instead of just doing it naturally after playing it for a long time. So that is called a hammer-on. And we're going to use a hammer-on to start this song. The song sounds like this. That's the first phrase, or as I say, that's the first sentence. Hammer on, chord, hammer on, hammer on. So lots of hammer-ons. Now when we play this fast, we're going to use a chromatic run to get back to the C note. But in the beginning, we're just going to do the alphabet. G, A, B, C. So here's the first couple words of the song. An E note, we're going to hammer on. E note being the 4th string, 2nd fret. And then we're going to hammer on with the 3rd finger after we strike the string to the F note. So it's going to sound like this. So you have to practice that. That's not something that most of us do in the first 5 minutes. This is some practice. Okay, so I'm hammering on from the E to the F note. So the intro to the song is, now I'm going to put the hammer on. Then I play G open, 3rd string open. But while I play that, I'm forming the C chord. See the C chord there? I'll do it again. 3rd string open, and then I strum the C chord 1 time. Okay, I'll do it again. Okay. Then the next sentence or phrase is I go from the C chord, I'm going to pick up this middle finger, and I'm going to play this A note, which is the 3rd string, 2nd fret. But I play it while I'm still in this C chord shape. So it goes like this, just like that. Open 3rd string, hammer. Or let's get the hammer in there. Then I play this C note, but I'm still in the C chord shape. And then I go to the E note, and I hammer on that inside the C chord. Now I'll play this slow. It's probably easier to follow and try to play along than it is to listen or read the instructions here. Play a C chord. And then the next phrase is F note, which is 4th string, 3rd fret, down to the E note, 4th string, 2nd fret, G note, 6th string, 3rd fret, and I strum the G chord. And then I use the alphabet. I want to get back to C. So going from G to C, G, A, B, C. G, A, 5th string open, 5th string, 2nd fret, and C. Okay. Let me see if I can play this through for you without making a horrible mistake. F, E, G, strum, A, B, C. And if I bring that up to speed or close to speed, there's also many versions of this song. So you're going to see people playing this with lots of variations. This is just the basic melody and chord structure of the song. Last time I did that, I did a chromatic run. I mentioned that earlier. Chromatic simply means I go from one note to the next note, next adjacent note, next half step. That is a chromatic run right there. And it can go both directions, forward and backwards, up and down, okay? So, and you don't always have to play 4 notes, but normally to play chromatically, my definition is you really need 3 notes. So that's a nice little chromatic lick right there. So when I play this G, and notice I use some hammer-ons. And I went to a D note, and then that takes me back to the C chord. Lots of variations on that. So let me play this through for you a little bit. Again, I'll probably make a mistake, but when I do, I'll stop and tell you. A, B, C. Now I stay here for a second. That kind of gives me time to take my breath and think about what I'm going to do. We'll do the second half of that in the next video. Work on that for a couple of days and we'll post this. Any questions, any comments, please send them back to Mingda Music, to Gerhardt. He'll forward them on to me and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Remember everybody, playing music. It's a great way to relax, de-stress, and just enjoy your life a little bit. So play guitar. It's a great thing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.